Welcome to the world of Rouge. I am Oliwia Rouge and Shredy is here with me. Today's topic, Shredy, is very important for me because I was thinking about the theme that I want to talk about with you many years. And I even educated myself on this topic by myself and acted upon it. But since we are walking this journey, I have the feeling that I did some things wrong, So I would like to talk about it because I think there are many people that might do the similar mistakes, I would say, and to clarify what is the difference, between being a good person and being too naive, Because in my case, for example, I decided that I would like to be a good person. I would like to do good for others. Like with my profession that I was having, I wanted to help others when they needed some money or they had financial problems. And the biggest thing that I did was I wanted to give everyone kind of space, so that emotional space, So I would say with every interaction, with every human that I was interacting, I was really trying to figure out their emotions, even sometimes before my own emotions, and understand why they're behaving in this way. And even more, after I understood, or, I thought that I understood their emotions, I even find ways to justify their behavior, And I have, I'm pretty certain now that I shouldn't have done many things. But back then I thought, is this the best thing you can do? This is the proof that you are a good person, So that's why I wanted to ask you, what is it actually to be a good person? What is it to be a good human? And to where are we doing mistakes where we are just too naive or falling into some illusion traps?
Yeah. First of all, we need to know if the definition of good, being good, is it subjective or objective? When we are saying something is good or bad, is it something that is measurable or just an opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Someone is deciding to define something as good or bad based on their own opinion, or something that is good in the sense that is high quality, or that it is a decision that is good, that is relevant to the goal, relevant to the objective. Because if we don't differentiate between the subjective and the objective, then it will become very vague, and we will never be able to define it. It is
okay,
especially in group dynamics, where people are not conscious of the objective, because all of their interaction is based upon the shadow side, by the dark side, or by their subconscious, or the interaction is subconscious. So here, anyone can define something as good based on their hidden interests and their hidden intentions. They want something from you, they tell you you're good. You don't give them what they want, they tell you you're bad. Not because it's good or bad, it's because it's not in line with their interests, mm-hmm. or their opinions. So when it comes to good or bad, we need to know in which context we are talking, the context of the objective or the subjective.
For me, my biggest aim was to give everyone the feeling that they feel seen, and understood in what they want to say, or in their emotions and their worldview, that they are not being ignored or made smaller. I wanted that their interest also is being seen.
Yeah, but not everyone is in the same interaction. Not everyone that has a relationship with you cares about the benefit of everyone. Some people don't see your side of the story. Some people don't see your interests. They don't see what serves you. All they see is what they can get out of it. So kind of here, when you acknowledge their needs, it can be perceived from their point of view as something good, but if you think about it from the point of view of the objective, it can be something that is destructive for the relationship. Because you educate them on self-entitlement, though they are not entitled. They think they deserve something. Just because you confirmed that from your point of view, out of empathy, out of love, out of whatever. And then, instead of learning their boundaries, they start to think that this is their rights to violate your boundaries, and you should not set a boundary because this is their territory. And then the relationship goes here out of balance, and then you need to sustain that also.
This is exactly the point where I think that I did this mistake, because I didn't change. I still want people to feel good, and I would wish that everyone feel seen and acknowledged in their emotions. But because I gave so many people permissions, because with this I didn't set some boundaries, right? When I acknowledge someone's emotions all the time and their needs and their visions, and as you say, maybe they had their own interest, and now that I'm putting certain boundaries, still not still with love, out of love, but out of love for myself, this is now creating a big problems. Now I was facing so much aggression, so much hatred, and I think that was because I was too open, too allowing, so many years, that they got used to it so much, and now they are shocked, and they now judge it as something very bad, Now I became a villain in their story. So this is now why I'm rethinking this whole concept that I created for myself, because my heart didn't change. It's still the same. But now I not only want others to feel good, but I also want to give myself the same acknowledgement for my needs and my emotions. And I'm not facing the same understanding that I was giving them back then. So this is a huge thing. Yeah, that's starting the whole reshaping of this, of everything right now in my head. So, but would you say that this is something a naive?
This is part of the programming. First of all, since you're a child, let's say, there are specific identities that everyone is carrying in this relationship. Their identity is the one who takes, the one who's giving orders, and your identity, for example, is the one who's supposed to fulfill expectations. You're supposed to be suggestive. You're supposed to solve problems without they talking about it. Even if you look bad, and you have to make them look good, even if they look bad. So there is kind of non-spoken codes in the relationships in order to sustain the harmony of the group. While you start to realize that this identity is self-destructive and toxic, and you start to become aware of your emotional wealth and your energy, and you want to protect it, and you don't want to be taken advantage of, so you start to set boundaries and to grow your emotional intelligence in order to start to set boundaries. And of course they don't like it, but they cannot tell you, hey, I want to steal from you and you're not allowing me to do that. They tell you you're bad, as if it's an objective judgment, as if it's something that has to do, as if it's a judgment has to do with the empiric measurement. It is not. It is your opinion that I'm bad, and you judge me as I'm bad because I'm not giving you what you want, not because I am bad. And you know what? If this is from your point of view, I'm bad because I don't want to give you something, then I'm bad. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be bad. Because are you bad? Good. No, it is. They can think whatever they want. And in relationships, gradually, if people are not conscious of what's happening in the dynamics, like let's say there's a line between us, and I'd like to take a little bit from your territory, and you allow it to happen. And then another a small line, and you allow it to happen. Because you want me to feel good. Then I take another line. Then the moment you tell me, you start to feel that you are being toxified, and you are not, you're confused or whatever, and you want to have one step backwards. Can you get one step back out of my territory? So from this point of view, this is my territory already. I've been here for a long time and you didn't say anything. It means that it's mine. This is how they think when you set boundaries suddenly, when they are so deep into your territory. They're so deep inside, but from their point of view, hello, this is mine.
Yeah, so I always had I always thought that it's something like this happens. It might be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning for this person, but then they reflect on it, and they make like the facts checks, and then they will like acknowledge, oh, sorry, that was actually your territory. I'm sorry that I overstepped it.
You think like this because you are objective oriented, you are harmony oriented, you try to take care of everyone and the perspective of everyone. You are like this. They are not even conscious. They don't care about your needs. They don't care about your interests. They want this. You have to give it to them. You have to give it to them. They don't meet you on the same level of consciousness, of seeing the holistic, of acknowledging. They have no empathy in order to exchange. They need to prey on your emotions. Because here's the thing. If they are emotionally poor, they need somebody to nurture them emotionally. And this is, in this case, the other person, which is the scapegoat or whatever. But in this kind of interaction, there is no growth. Because growth happens only when you have an exchange. Both are nurturing the relationship. Both are inspiring each other. Both are bringing something to the table. Not someone who's giving and giving and giving, and the other person is growing ego much bigger and much self-entitled. It is...
Yeah, but, this is exactly... The thing is that this is... This being a good person, even though you cannot really measure it, there is for example, in every culture, in every society, there is this unspoken definitions of it, right? Because, for example, I know a person and she's also giving everything to her friends and giving everything to everyone. They call her, they're like, da. I need you now. Can you take care of this and that? And she's like, I'm gonna come. Just give me, tell me when, and I'm gonna be there. And then in the next day, someone else calls her and no, can you do this and that for me? And then she does it, She's always the person that does everything for everyone. And so many people around her are telling, she's such a good friend, she's such a good person, she always takes care of me, I just need to call her and then she's there for me, so they kind of feed it. They decided, I don't know, because it's unspoken, but they are okay, if we are gonna feedback this in this way, then she will feel her ego, or I don't know, she will then feel, oh, I'm a good person, and she will continue feeding the cycle, Yeah,
in her case, she can do that all her life, no problem. The thing is that if one day someone realizes that I've wasted so much energy and time on something that goes nowhere, then if they feel the pain, they might take a decision to change. But until then, they can keep on living like this because they need really, the awakening is not easy.
For sure, I can imagine, because also you said if they say you are a bad person. Okay, then I'm a bad person. But for someone who like is programmed this way to be, you have to be good, you have to be nice, you have to do this for me and that for me, like to get this feedback, but you behaving in a bad way. This is not good what you're doing. Da, 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 da. You were so good. Now you're so bad. This is like so difficult, to take that in. And not to take it personal and to think, well, maybe I am like egoistic, maybe I am a bad person, So this is like in the beginning, it's not easy to learn this. That judgment is not objective.
If you are someone who's like who's addicted to something, and he wants to take money from you in order to buy drugs, for example, and you don't give him the money. Then he tell you, you are a bad person. Are you a bad person?
No.
You're not giving it. He wants to have it to buy himself something that is toxic. And you are not giving them like the money. First of all, you don't have to explain why. Also, if he wants to go buy food, by the way, you can decide if you want to give or not to give. This is your decision. But let's say how even people can get into a radical place that they feel entitled to destroy themselves and to destroy you and to destroy everyone around. And if you don't comply, you're a bad person. Many people are brainwashed. They are not conscious. They really, and you know what? They get the support of the environment. You know what? Take this money. You know what? Take this money. We all give him money and you're the only one who's not giving the money. We all together and you're not. Then they target the only intelligent person in the group.
Exactly. And this difficulty, like, because no one talks about it, but yet everyone agrees on it. Like, how can this happen, Because everyone gets like a bite from this cake, kind of, directly or indirectly. And it's like so difficult to be like the only person in the group to withstand this, Especially because like the whole society and cultural wise, it is like seen, if you are giving everything of yourself, then you are like a good person. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah. This is one thing on its own. And the second big thing was like, we talked about it also like a lot in the beginning, because for me, I wanted to be like activism, this word activism, like I took it or take it still very serious, but how I was defining it, how I was living it, and how I see it now, it's also changed. And I think it's like also so big, to talk about it, because, earlier, like when something happened in the world, right? It doesn't matter in which country. And I think, this should not happen. I was posting about it on my social media, and like, I wanted to share my solidarity, and I want to, I was trying to educate myself and to spread certain agendas, but what is actually the real activism, Is it like sharing something on social media and speaking about stuff? Or what can we really do to be like real activists?
Yeah, because also the programming of the group saying if you are a good person, you have to put this flag on your profile. If you are a good person, you need to share this. Look what's happening in that country. Look what's happening in that country. So kind of the activism is already what you're describing. It also has to do with the being a good person. But there's also something that is called performative morality. They perform morality. Because at the end of the day, before taking care of people that you don't know, in a country so far away from you, in a culture that you don't understand, are you one of those people who say, okay, I will give you money. No, we all give him. Are you one of the group that are conspiring against the only one intelligent person? Are you a person who's sovereign? Are you a person who's really taking care of your life? Are you a person who works, or you're hanging on the tax money? Are you a burden on society? Because before talking about activism and hiding behind groups and concepts and political agendas, what kind of a human being you as a person? You know, when it comes to activism, every group finds something that is in line with its interests. There are groups, right-wing, left-wing, some political agendas. And yeah, some of them have an interest in this group. Some of them are being paid in order to spread certain, to organize, to throw parties and to organize events and so on and so on. And they're the people who are not conscious, who think that, oh, this is just a naive, we all get together. And in the name of feminism, we are just saving something. Or in the name of right wing, we are just saving something. They don't know that they are being used in order to sustain and to promote a political agenda. But those people, the unconscious, not the ones who are paid, not the ones who the puppet masters are not the ones who are being paid. The ones who are not paid, those that are not conscious. In Russian, they call them useful idiots. People who are not conscious, but they are serving an agenda, thinking that they are something special and important. And all they do is just making more separation between people, more radicalism. And so they think they are good people, that they are doing something. But actually, even those people, when you go down to their motives, the person that is talking about the right wing and he's so happy there, you dig deep down, the unconscious, you see that his girlfriend left him for a migrant. And instead of going and working on his masculinity, he's very angry and very jealous. And the easiest thing is, in order not to face himself in the mirror, to judge a whole amount of people, while everyone in his group is saying, yeah, the problem is not you. Your masculinity is fine. You have no problem. It's them. And all of them agree, just like with the money. We all give you money. We all give you money. All of them agree to demonize some kind of people in order to feel good with themselves. And you go to those who are unconscious and ask, what are their personal interests? Emotional, sexual, things that are not fulfilled. And then they come on the surface, they come to belehren, to teach, to perform morality, to tell you how life should happen. Most important, if you stop taking money from the government that finances your activism, and then you pretend to be kind of a revolutionary against the system, or stop taking money from your mom and father and go complete your male-female circle, become an adult, create, work on yourself and grow. Nothing can save you. You cannot hide behind agendas and come to teach intelligent people what morality is. We know what morality is.
Yeah, so this is something that hit me so much, where I couldn't unsee it anymore, because I really thought that if I'm gonna share some things and talk about some things, that, I'm doing it in a group of people that only have the best interest. But, the moment money is involved, there can be so different agendas. So people who are not having the same mindset as me, we can be seen in the same boat kind of, and they just do it to get some kind of privileges. And sometimes we can even make the problem bigger, because some people already decided how they're gonna spread down different things and how they divide it. And they have their own agenda, and we are just the blind people consuming it and thinking we doing this in a good name, So this was this hit me so hard. And then exactly, we want every human to be free, and that we have the same rights and so on, but if we are not free from our own family system sometimes, then this is like kind of the first step to do, right? Like, because I know people that are going their own life journey is dictated by their parents. And they are not brave enough to tell them, like, I don't want to do what you tell me that I should do. I don't want to study this. I don't want to work in this profession. They don't tell them, this parents, because they don't want to disappoint them. They don't want to break their dynamic. But there are like so much activists about different agendas that are so far away from us. And once I really like saw it on my own eyes, I was like, wow. So for real, like the real activism really, really starts with oneself. Because this is sometimes the hardest one. And we would not think it, because most of those people, they come from, example, good houses, or, we have like, there's no big problems here, we can study, we can work, we can find our flats, we can marry whoever we want to, we can have relations however we want to have it. And like, not being able to tell the closest people around us what we really want, when simultaneously having like so many privileges already, just pops up into the surface of how difficult it is to act oneself's life. And how much easier it is to address to something that is so far and disconnected from our own life. Yeah. And now I faced it like myself, in my own private life. Like, one might think we are so free here. Yes, with law, we are. On the law level, we are. But on this unspoken dynamic levels, there's so much work, so much activism that we have to do, Yeah,
even I see this as a sociopathic phenomenon.
Uh-huh.
I don't see it as something, we are social, we are together. Because, it's much easier if they control themselves than to control others, or to control countries, or to control wars. Just go and control yourself. But no, they think they don't need to improve. Everything is fine. Their life is a mess, but they gather in groups in order to control others. In the name of the activism, to control something, a different group. On the other hand, to control each other in the pack, to control each other in the herd, in their own groups. It's not kind of in any group of activism. People don't come there necessarily for the purpose and the objective of what they're signed in for. They come because they are looking for friends. Everyone is coming there. It's like a club. And this club is inviting so many people who are looking for emotional exchange. Of course, they cannot acknowledge it. Oh, I'm emotionally poor. I'm looking for emotional exchange with people. I'm looking for friendships. I'm looking for friends. And because I need some emotion. No, I don't need anyone. I'm here for the purpose, for the cause of the activism. But actually, all their behaviors, it's around group dynamics. And you see those people pretend to be the highly moral, the highly spiritual with their activism. But in their personal lives and their communication, you see so much toxicity. You see so much lack of awareness, lack of consciousness. And this is something that's why also it invalidates the whole concept of activism in my eyes. People need to work on themselves and to improve themselves personally, first of all. No one can come to talk to me about activism when I see that they have a mess in their personal lives. You need to work a lot on your personal lives before you even think that there is something beyond, that you need to improve something so far away from your life in a different country, in a different religion. Focus on your lives. You have a lot to work on.
So true. So true. Like, once I understood this, Like this really changed my whole concept about thinking, about activism. I swear, this is so important what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes even I work with men, like let's say in some sessions where they have difficulties with women and things like this, and with and then the easiest thing, let's say a man who cannot attract a woman, instead of thinking about what he can improve in himself and grow, the easiest thing to say, women are like this, but men are like this. Women don't like this, women are like this, and women are... Wait, don't make conclusions. You don't make conclusions. You had something specific that happened to you personally that you could not achieve. Your ego is hurt. I can understand that. But if you want to solve it, you need to acknowledge it first of all, and in order to improve.
Yeah, but this gives like a feeling of like failure or shame or like guilt or frustration. And this is not comfortable, you know, to work through it. So it's so much more pleasant
to the space. Don't come and talk to me about activism. Yeah. All women, all migrant, all men, don't come to talk to me about activism, joining groups of whatever groups, or like, you know, it's not only groups, also kind of psychological concepts,
Yeah, exactly. So this is exactly like when you are going into these groups and sharing different things that all your friends are sharing, and you go to meet them, like everything you feel on an emotional level, it's a pleasure. Because you see your friends, you have the feeling of belonging, you have like this kind of aim, and you know, you might fall in love with someone, and nobody talks about it because we do it in the name of activism, right? But everything that your body gets and your hormones is like beautiful. But when you like decide, okay, now I do like activism in my own life, and I try to free myself from the programming, and I try to find my journey, and so on and so on. This is not pleasure, because you don't have the group anymore on your side. You have to have like dialogues with people that might be uncomfortable. You can face challenges. When you grow and you want to level up, the concepts are changing in your head, and you know then what is right, what is wrong, guilt, shame, uncertainty, you know, then you need like a strong intuition of navigation. So yeah, for sure, this one is like way more difficult like than to accomplish. But you know, I don't know how the time is running, because you said something.
We still have 10 minutes.
Okay, amazing. Because in the beginning you said like that this is like difficult. I was talking about good, being a good person, right? And you said first of all, what is like being good? What is the definition of it? And I think that, this one is like difficult, right? You cannot really measure it.
Yeah, no, in objective frames, you can measure it. In objective frames where things are defined. But when there's so much confusion and so much manipulation of the system, and it's not consistent, and there's no one standard to measure things, where there's a lot of chaos. You have now, like, let's say, what is good art? When you have governments financing artists in the background, and artists that are coming from down, nobody's financing them, and yet they succeed to create. People say, people don't see the difference. This is an artist and this is an artist. This is paid by the government, this is paid by, and this works in different ways, and he has people that are willing to pay the ticket in order to see that. But from the point of view on outside, they see both of them are the same. So that the judgment of what is good, what is divine or good, it is difficult to find. So you really need to look at the details and the holistic picture. In order to know what is good, you need to measure things with one standard.
Okay, so then I would like to ask you, like, if someone thinks that they are a good person, yet they feel like something's wrong in their life. They feel like energy-wise strained, and they have a feeling they cannot accomplish their goals, and they feel like heavy. Like, what can a person do then, like, to navigate through their life, to, you know?
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you say the person feels,
Yeah.
then this is not a measurable objective. This is subjective. This is a personal point of view.
That's true.
So this is, because what I'm saying is that the good and bad here can be, it's a perspective. There's a belief system that can define things. There is habits. So you cannot now talk about this as good or bad in this context.
Yeah.
But if you say, I want to achieve my goal, and the goal is very specific and declared and, let's say, time-oriented, and the goal was not achieved, then I can say that the actions are not relevant to the goal, or the quality of the action was not relevant to the goal. Then I need now to improve, to make it better, to make it more accurate. Then I now want to work on the characteristics of the action in order to find a higher quality performance, let's say, in order to achieve the goal. But the goal is an objective, it's defined.
Yeah, okay. So the only thing that I can do actually to this topic is only to speak from my perspective, because I wanted to make it more generalized, but as you say, this is still through my lenses, you know? So maybe another way, I would like to say that for me, in my head, when I was thinking about being a good person in this world that I was living in, there was no way that I would make another person feel bad, you know, like by setting a boundary, for example, that's protecting my needs and my feelings. And the moment when someone said, like, this is making me feel bad, or you egoistic, or you are bad, instead of believing like my feelings and my needs, I was thinking, oh no, what can I do so that this person feels good again in this dynamic?
Yeah, this requires a different kind of vision. But when you are not conscious of the dynamics, it is a matter of opinions and feelings. And this is your feelings and this is the other person's feelings. So even if you have the intention to make things be good for the other person, and you act upon it, and you really make the good actions, sometimes those good actions might cause bad feeling on the other side, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of your intentions. So it is not in your control. Not everything is in your control. And but here's the thing. Instead of thinking kind of what I want to make him feel, what is my objectives? Like, what is your objectives? What is my goals? If my goal is to make him feel good, let's say, or to make her feel good, this requires now emotional vision and spiritual vision that most people don't have. That's why group dynamics are almost chaotic. Nobody can follow the cause and effect. People can tell stories however they want. You said that, I didn't say this, he said that, and you can never follow up. Even if you document things, they will never acknowledge them. Even if you show them a video, they will say, yeah, everybody makes mistakes, sorry, blah, blah, blah. So there will never be acknowledgement because the identities has already been fixed. So in order to navigate group dynamics objectively, it requires a high level of emotional intelligence and emotional vision that most people unfortunately don't have, because they are so stick to materialism, and also their belief systems they're so brainwashed by belief systems, by propaganda, so they deny their own truth. The ego, jealousy are so spiritual burdens sitting on their spirits that they lost their emotional vision, and that's why it's difficult to navigate in group dynamics, especially when you're the person who's emotionally wealthy, because you will be targeted. You are the source of the emotional wealth that everyone can enjoy without acknowledging it, without saying thank you. So this specific person, you need to be also emotionally intelligent, otherwise they will tear you apart.
So this is more important, like being like an emotionally intelligent person than like putting on oneself like, I want to be a good person. Because again, you cannot like define this good or bad, but emotional intelligent means you can like read the room and you know what you need, you know what you feel, and maybe you can like understand a little bit the group dynamics and the people's intentions. Or like
Yeah, and also you
the
can
goals.
give, if you are aware, no, I'm telling those things, and I know many people that know me personally. I think emotionally intelligent, they start to set traps for me, to show everyone that it's not like this. I had those experiences a lot. And yet, things, if you read the scene right, you can navigate. But what I'm saying is that reading the room, like the emotional intelligence, the purpose is not only that you achieve your objectives. If you see the holistic, the actions that what you're acting upon can be good in the way that can solve the problem everywhere. For example, just a simple example. Let's say there's a mom and there's a child, and the child wants something, and the mom cannot buy it, for example, and he starts to cry. And if she says, okay, don't cry, I want to make you feel good, I will buy it for you. She took money from the bank in order to buy this toy. She now to pay credit. The child grew up a self-entitlement that I can get whatever I want, just I need to cry a little bit more. He developed those habits in order to get what he wants. He started to get more and more aggressive. And so she lost money. He learned bad behavior. If she would have just be honest with herself and she would set a boundary, she would have not needed to waste money, and he would have learned to delay his need, that he cannot get whatever he wants.
When it's not the right time and...
No, he needs to be respectful and aware of other things. If his mom cannot afford buying this toy, he needs to learn what it means to afford or not to afford. Mm-hmm. So he would not, but anyway, so the right action will also save the goals of the mom, that she doesn't need to take money from the bank, and it also will teach the other person his limits and his boundaries. But many people do the other way around, which is they lose this side and they lose that side because they cannot navigate. And this is a simplistic example, but in order to understand what I mean, but in group dynamics, it can be way, way more complex.
Yeah, but this simplistic example, like I can tell that some years I developed a habit of being the mom from the first situation. Like, oh no, he's crying and his emotions, so he's sad and frustrated. I cannot buy it, but maybe I can like take a loan from somewhere and, to make him happy. Yeah, but then it's like a lose-lose. And this is what I was like feeling like in the long run, kind of. But I was so much caught up into my own concept. I was working so hard also on develop it and things like this. But the outcome wasn't like nice for me and wasn't leading me to my goals. So that's why I also think it's so beautiful for me and so important to like rewrite this concept now and this definition that I made in my head, and to be okay with not being this good person anymore in the face of others that got used to me being always like understandable and open for their needs.
Yeah. Like we talked about it in the past. Would you think about if there's a hyena that meets a deer, and the hyena is telling the deer, "Come on, be a good person. Come here, give me a bite. Be a good person. Or you're selfish. You don't want to give me a bite." And the deer will say, "Oh, I want to understand the feelings of the hyena in order that I can be a good person. Come, eat a little bit." There's no such thing. You can think that I'm bad. Your opinion is not relevant. I know what you want from me. You want to eat my flesh. So if I'm bad, then I'm bad. And many people in real life, oh, I'm a bad person because I'm not no, you're a narcissists use the words in a very sophisticated way. They make people feel feel guilty. But there's a difference between feeling guilty and being guilty. Feeling ashamed and being shameful. A huge difference. Many people walk around guilty and shameful, but they walk like this. So much self-confidence, and they come do, and they want to teach your life, and they want to belehren. And many people who have no guilt, they're really good people, empathic people. But because of their lack of emotional intelligence, walk like this, and oh my God, and ashamed, and feeling guilty,
and expecting for the hyena to
love them and to respect them.
Yes, exactly.
And to acknowledge that they are good people.
Exactly. Exactly. It took me so long to understand this example. I was hearing your words, but I was like, it just didn't go more deeper. Now I finally understand this, Yes. But this is like a journey on its own when you've been programmed in a certain way, Yeah. Yes. So I could for me, I could take this topic to other places. Today we talked it also in the context of activism, which we can also talk even further and further, because there's so much to connect the dots, right? And to bring it to places where we can repoint it, where it's really important and not just an illusional blah blah. Yeah. But yes, for today, this is already a lot of input to reflect on it again. And yeah, thank you for this insights and this examples, and for sharing your opinion about it. Because for me, this is a game changer. And I can tell you that from week to week, from day to day, I feel better with myself, with my self-esteem. And I still think that I'm a good person. But now I don't only respect others, but finally I can also acting in a way where I know that I respect myself. Yes. So I'm almost feeling very touched. So thank you so much. So valuable. Yes. And we also wish you a lot of fun with this episode. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do, and looking forward to see you next week.